Good evening, everybody. This is Mike, WQYPA27, and I'm your net control for the evening, and I'm on time tonight. It is now 1900 hours, June 7th, 2022. Before proceeding with the net tonight, we're going to check for stations with emergency or priority traffic. Any such traffic, go ahead and call in now. Hearing none, if during the net there is any emergency or priority traffic, you're always free to break in at any time. The GMRS 1900 net is a directed net where we discuss matters relating to GMRS and various other topics. While a directed net is in operation, we ask that all radio traffic go through net control. This net is normally conducted utilizing the national travel tone of 141.3 Hertz. All participants are also encouraged to use your radio's monitor mode during the net to ensure that you don't miss anyone transmitting on a different tone. The GMRS 1900 net website can be found at www.azgmrs.org. After check-ins are complete, we will pose our topic, and we're going to ask for input. When you take your turn, we ask that you keep it short, to the point, so that any questions or comments can be properly addressed by all. Also want to remind you that when you are through with the conversation, please clear with your assigned FCC call sign. Is there any emergency or priority traffic before we continue? This is WQYPA27 for ID. Tonight we're using our online pre-registration roster for the net. If you have pre-registered, you will not have to call in at this time. I'll now go ahead and take check-ins from our non-registered participants. Please check in one at a time with your first name and call sign, and please speak slowly so they have time to write down the information. Boy, having a tough time talking tonight. You can go ahead and start check-in now.
Ken, WRQH385.
All right, Ken, thank you very much. I got you down. That was WRQH in Henry, 385.
That's correct.
Woo! Batting 1 for 1 tonight. Anybody else?
WQZZ 533.
All right, I'm sorry, I did cover up somebody there. I got the 533 part. Try it one more time.
WQZZ 533, Jeff.
WQZZ 533 Jeff. Gotcha. Anybody else?
WRPW 729, Bob and Surprise.
All right, Bob, I already have you on the roster, so you are pre-checked in. Anybody else?
Kevin, Flagstaff, Arizona, WRQV811.
Hey, Kevin in Flagstaff, welcome. Okay, I have you checked in. Anybody else?
Kevin in Glendale, WQJB492, in and out, thanks.
I believe that was WQJB492. What was the name?
Kevin in Glendale, in and out, thanks.
All right, got you in and out. One more time out there. Anybody else want to check in?
WRFY 476.
WRFY 476. Malta, you're already on here, so you don't need to be checking in. You're already on pre-registered.
All right, my bad. I didn't know if it had gone through. Thank you.
Yeah, my bad on that one. I'll make sure I respond so you guys know that you are pre-registered. Anybody else before we get started?
WRQS 431, Mike in South Chandler.
Okay, make sure I got it right. WRQS 431, Mike, and where are you at?
This is 431. I am in South Chandler, Arizona.
All right, I got you checked in, and we will check back here in just a moment and see before we end and make sure that we didn't get any late or missed check-ins. Right now, before we get started, I'm going to turn it over to WQUZ 645, see if he has any announcements for us.
This is WQZ 645. How do you copy there, Mike?
645, I've got you. Go ahead. You still got an outage over there?
Yeah, we're still in an outage situation right now. So I just wanted to mention that of course, the Connection Fest went really well. We had a lot of people showed up, and we appreciate everybody involved there. And just wanted to mention that we have the presentations that were done during the event there, as well as some more information available on member website. So you can go to the member website and click on articles, and then you should see it there. There's a post on there about the presentations and some more information that's available if anybody wants to look at that. And then we don't forget, we've got our get-together coming up at Barlow's Pizza this Saturday, 11 a.m. WQZ 645, back to that, and I will not be able to do any of the log activities tonight there, Mike.
Oh, yeah. Thank you very much for that one. All right, 645, appreciate it. And so let's get this show on the road. The topic for the week is, what drew you to getting involved with GMRS, and has it met your expectations? So let's start right at the top. And Bubba, WRPY 760. You out there?
Yeah, this is Bubba out here. Go ahead and check me in.
No, Bubba, I've already got you checked in. We've got this thing started. What got you involved in GMRS, and has it met your expectations?
All right, here we go. I had a scanner when I was a kid, about 15 to 16 from Radio Shack, which I still have today. Plus, I became a truck driver and got into CBs, and now I've gotten into GMRS, and I'm also a ham radio operator. And has it met my expectations? I'm going to say yes, pretty much. But I do have a question for you.
Well, hopefully I'll have an answer for you.
All right, today I was on my way back westbound on the 202 South Mountain Freeway, and I seen an accident, and I have no coverage back there. Are we going to get coverage back there, or is there coverage back there that I don't know of? Because I had to wait till I got all the way west to the casino to get a hold of Gary.
Did you try Scottsdale 700?
Oh, I did not, because I was behind the mountain, behind South Mountain, so I didn't think any of them would work, but I did not know.
Well, it depends on where you are exactly behind South Mountain. There is an avenue there because we do have some people that are out in that area. So there is a narrow field there where you can get into Scottsdale 700. But yeah, we're working on getting something out a little bit further east.
Oh, absolutely. And thanks for taking the net, Mike. And this is WRPY 760 Bubba 73 and back to net control.
Bubba, take care out there, and thank you for joining us. Next up, Gil, WRAP 438 out in El Mirage. All right, let's go to WRQS 431, Mike out in Chandler.
Yeah, thanks. WRQS 431, Mike here in Chandler. I've been fascinated by radio since I was a little kid. Started with scanners, listening to local police and fire. And then most recently, decided to take the jump into GMRS. It's definitely met my expectations. I just can't quit buying radios, though.
Yeah. Once you've had a taste of that Kool-Aid, it's hard to stop.
Roger that. And also to what Bubba was saying, we back there on that 202, not the Red Mountain, the south one that goes around South Mountain, it is pretty spotty on the coverage.
Yeah, no doubt about it. That is a pretty much of a dead zone for a lot of things. It's hard to get out through even some of the ones that really covers some of the extra repeaters out there. So we are definitely working on that and trying to find some options out there.
Awesome. Thanks for running the net. WRQS 431, back to net control.
All right, Mike, thanks a lot. Good to see you at the fest. All right, Kenneth, you're next up, WRQH 385.
Yeah, this is WRQH 385, Ken, over here in Sun City West. I started with CBs, and then I like to do four-wheeling, and most of the four-wheeling clubs have gone to GRMS, so that's what got me into the GMRS radios. And so far, I'm really enjoying them. And that's all I got. Back to the net, WRQH 385.
Well, Ken, that'll do it, and thank you for joining us, and glad you were out there tonight. Let's go on to Dave, WRJS 273 out there tonight. All right, let's try Robert out in Apache Junction, WRPI 759.
Yeah, this is Robert, WRPI 759. Yeah, I mean, kind of like everybody, I guess I started out playing with scanners and CVs as a kid. I always had an interest in radio. I played around with software-defined radios over the last couple of years. Have an interest in ham, and like Ken said, I kind of do the same. I'm big into off-road. A lot of people tend to use either Baofeng radios or at least GMRS to stay in touch, and it's worked out really well. I've still learning my way through it, but it's been a great experience.
All right, Robert, I assume you, with the beeps, I guess you're coming in from on Zello?
Yeah, I'm on Zello. I have a hard time with a couple hills in my way. I got to go park up on top of a hill sometimes to hit the repeater.
No problem. I didn't hear the beeps at first, and I'm thinking, I'm looking at Apache Junction. Man, he's awfully loud.
Yeah, if I park up on a hill off McKellips a couple miles south of my house, I can hit the repeater pretty well. But if I go 50 feet in any direction, I'm all static.
All right, Robert. Well, we appreciate you joining us tonight. Even if it was on Zello, it's a good app just to cover those dead spots. I'll let you throw that call sign out if you have nothing else.
All right, this is Robert, WRPI 759, back to net control.
All right, you have a good night out there. And we're going on to Don, WRPS 328. You're up next. All right, no Don. Let's try Kendall, WRCU 835. Kendall, you out there tonight? All right, well, while we're in the Flagstaff area, let's jump over to Kevin. Kevin up in Flagstaff, 811. You still out there? WRQV 811. Kevin? All right, moving over to Bob, WRPW 729. Surprise.
My name is Bob, and I got into it rather recently, although, yes, like everyone else, it seems, scanners, CVs, et cetera, and did not want to sit down for a ham test. So I was looking for some alternatives and looked at GMRS, which I began using with FRS at shooting matches where all the officials are tied together on radio, and went on with this. Break. So as to has it met my expectations, well, I have not explored more than 10% of this world yet, and still looking and still shopping and still having fun with it. So yeah, I'm happy. This is Bob in Surprise, WRPW 729, monitoring.
All right, Bob, thank you very much. And, you know, it is what you make of it, and I learn something new almost every single day. It just keeps coming in. Bob, thank you very much. Moving on to Todd, WRQY 421 over in Phoenix.
WRQY 421, this is Todd, in North Central Phoenix. I'm a relative newbie to the GMRS world, although like a lot of people here, I built crystal radios as a kid, and my brother and I used to listen to the Cubs on crystal radio. We always grew up in Phoenix. Then we kind of got out of it for a lot of years. My wife and I did a lot of different things left here. We completed a method to do some communication back and forth, and so far we're enjoying it.
All right, Todd. Todd, thank you for joining us. Got a little staticky there at the end, but got almost the whole entire conversation. Be careful out there. Moving on, Bill out in Mesa, WROP 208. Okay, let's try Ray out in Goodyear, WRPH 209.
Hey, thanks, Mike. Good evening to the net. I got into it because I was looking for a hobby, so I figured that was a good thing to try out. And once I got into GMRS, I figured out it wasn't enough to make a full hobby out of, so I went out and got my ham license also. And between the two of them, I got plenty to do now. So I guess it did meet my expectations somewhat. So I'll turn it back to net control. WRP H209.
Awesome. Good to hear, Ray. Thank you very much for joining us. And we are now to Balta, WRFY 476. It is your turn.
WRFY 476, Malta here. Got into it mainly off-roading like a lot of other people. We were in an accident hiking, needed to get some help without cell service, and started looking for options after that. GMRS pretty much met my expectations. WRFY 476, Malta.
Good, and glad to hear you on the air. Appreciate it very much for joining us. Let's go. Next up is Walker, WRPL 215.
Hi everyone. Welcome. Good to hear everyone tonight. I'm kind of sorry that I missed the last event. Really wanted to be there, but couldn't make it. Want to hear all about it if anyone wants to tell any tales afterwards. Had to work though. Seemed like kind of a fun hobby, and still exploring it. And just like the other person said earlier, getting into radios, different radios, and researching them. And I'm kind of a technical person, so that's kind of fun to do. So just keeping busy with doing stuff like that. I'm a programmer, so that's what I like to do. Look forward to making hearing some other people out there too. And it's kind of, I think the hardest thing for me is just to kind of get the conversation rolling. That's all.
Yeah, I hear that same thing with a lot of people. They're just kind of afraid to get on the air, and that's kind of one of the purposes of net. Give you that opportunity to get in there for a short time and get your feet wet.
That sounds great, yeah. So there'll be more of me coming out there and talking to you guys. This is Walker in Phoenix, Central Camelback area, WRPL 215, monitoring.
Walker, thank you very much, and have a good night. Let's see, this is WQYP 827 for ID. We are now moving out to Phoenix. Bill, WRMR 257.
WRMR 257, Bill here. Good evening, Mike and the net. I started back in the 80s with CB for four-wheeling, and then it moved into base radio setup, 2018, I kind of decided to get away from the CB, and I went and got my technician's license for 2 meter, 70 centimeter. You get a little voice privilege on 10 meter too. Haven't gone any farther with that. Got a little disillusioned with it, so decided to get into GMRS. I kind of like just the rag chewing local. I think my only disappointment is it seems like 2 meter, 70 centimeter, and even the GMRS to some extent, there just isn't a lot of traffic overall throughout the day. So, but that's my main thing, is just being able to kind of get on the radio and play a little bit, talk to people. Anyways, back to you, Mike. WRMR 257.
Awesome, Bill, and thanks for taking the time out to join us tonight. It's good to hear you out there. Let's go out to Mesa, Brent. WQWZ 299. We're calling you early. Let's see if you're out there.
Well, I'm actually out in Phoenix. I'm at work tonight. I got into radio probably when I was about 15. Been in it ever since. Got into GMRS when I was in my mid-20s back in Illinois. Built my first repeater when I was probably 31 or so. And just been in it ever since. Love it. Love the people on it. WQWZ 1099.
Well, good to hear you out there, Brent. And boy, what a good job that you have that you can even pop in on the net from time to time. Awesome. Be careful out there and have a good night. Let's go to John over in Goodyear, WRJI 326.
Oh, good evening, Mike. This is John, WRJI 326.
Yeah, I got into CB radio back in, I'd say, 69 when I was in high school. My best friend was involved in it, and I got very interested in it. And the two of us went to tech school in communications, and so I spent about 5 years working for the radio shop and then decided to move on to other things. And then more recently with off-roading a couple of years ago, that's when I decided GMRS was a good replacement for CB.
Yeah, but I see that all the time, especially the Jeep groups moving everybody over to GMRS. I'm glad you took the time and got a license and did it right.
Absolutely. This is John, WRGI 326, back to Net.
John, thank you very much. Have a great night. Let's go back up to Flagstaff and see if Bill's up there tonight. WROD 347.
This is Bill, WRD 347. Good evening, Mike. Yeah, as a kid, I had my scanner and my CBs, and recently years I've had FRSs, and they've been fun, just, for local communications. And my brother-in-law got me into the GMRS this past year, and I'm enjoying it, meeting my expectations, and I just aim to use it more. That's it for now. WRD 347, back to Net.
All right, Bill, well, thank you very much, and hope to maybe meet up with you here in a couple of weeks. We'll be up there between the 18th and, 27th or something. So I'll try and get hold of you. Let's go out next to Gary, WROE 348.
Gary, WROE 348. And I got into GMRS because a couple of reasons. First, I was trying to get more familiar with NVIS on 2 meters, or on HF, I should say, and wasn't having a lot of success, so I looked to GMRS for local contacts so I could talk to my family. And because the way the license is structured, it worked out very well. So anyway, that's my excuse. Back to Net, Mike. Thanks for taking the Net. WROE 348.
Thank you, Gary. You sounded good out there tonight. Let's go over to WRNZ 382, Robbins Price. All right, let's try it one more time. Rob, WRNZ 382, you out there? Okay, let's try Art, WROI 404.
Good evening, Mike, and to the Net this evening. I guess my time goes back, in the 70s. I had a little trucking company, and we had a repeater-based radio system that was so unique and needed at the time that kind of sunk in on me. But I didn't go much further with it once we got out of that company. Excuse me. But I found this GMRS. My son was involved in it, and I found that it was a good communicative tool for the family and the neighborhood. I'm part of an association down where I live, and we need to have a method of communicating. So I'm it, and a few other people down there, Larry and Don. And it's easy to license and to harness the powerful communication that this device is. So I really benefited a lot from it, and not up to my expectations yet, but that's my fault. I'm just not involved enough, and I hope to be soon. I'm still learning. I forgot.
Art, you got timed out there, dude.
Well, that's Art with the ROI 404. I don't know where I got timed out at, but it doesn't matter. Back to the Net.
No big deal, Art. Yep, it's just a matter of compartmentalizing conversations from time to time. Good to hear you out there. Les, WREL 486, you out there tonight? Okay, let's try Kevin, WQJV 492. Moving on out to Chandler, John, WROU 270.
This is John, WROU 270. I kind of got into GMRS by mistake. All my kids are grown, and we all have different vehicles now, and we quite frequently go out and do activities together. We're just looking for a way to keep in better contact with each other.
Mostly I'm curious, what's the mistake part? How did you get into a mistaken?
User manual, so I guess it is far beyond surpassed any expectation I ever had. Back to you, Net.
John, I'm sorry, I might have jumped in over the top. I'm just curious. You said you got it in by mistake. You got into it by mistake. What happened?
I bought some radios on Amazon. I thought they were FRS. It wasn't until I started reading the user manual, but found out they were GMRS. I didn't even know it existed until then.
Okay, all right. Curious, what kind of radio, did you do your own programming?
Yes, I did.
All right, I'll just ask you, when we get done, why don't you check your programming and see if there's anything such as a Roger beep or a transmission acknowledgement type beep. You might want to turn those off.
Will do. Thanks again. Back to you, Net. WROU 270. Out.
Catch.
Yep, you got a lot of beeping going on there. John, let me know if I can help you out with that. All right, let's go on to Bill in Baghdad. Bill, are you by chance out there? All right, I was wondering how he was going to get into it. So let's go to Jeff, WPTT 519.
That is me, WPTT 519. Well, first got into GMRS in Memphis, 2000. There was one repeater. Me and another guy got into it. There was one repeater. Let me reset. And one guy on it kept throwing his call out. Nobody came back to him. Once we got licensed, of course, we talked to him, and he had put it up. Was hoping somebody someday would pass by. And it has improved, actually. Out here, it's growing left and right. So, improved. WPTT 519.
All right, Jeff, appreciate it, and good to hear you out there. Normally we miss you because you're off doing something else, so good to hear you there. Have a good night. And we're going to go out to Larry, WRJK 563.
WRJK 563, Larry here. I got into GMRS when I was off-roading with the ATV club. Started out with FRS and then bumped up to GMRS. And here I am, WRJK 563, sir.
Well, Larry, we missed you at the Connection Fest. Did you tell me that you couldn't make it for some reason or another?
My intent was to be there. I had something come up that I had to take care of.
Okay, well, you were missed.
Thank you.
All right, Larry, have a good one. Have a good night. Don over in Scottsdale, you out there tonight? WROD 635.
Yep, Don here in Scottsdale. I got drawn into this just like so many others from off-roading. And when I can talk 30 plus miles away simplex, my expectations are far exceeded. WROD 635.
Well, that would far exceed it for me too. Good job on that simplex. That is a good one. All right, This is WQIP 827 for ID. Looks like next up is Tom over in Glendale. WRMK 636. All right, moving over to Mesa, Joshua, WRNB 665.
Howdy doody, everybody, tonight. Yeah, I'm just like, I guess a lifelong radio fan and just kind of blundered into GMRS, was scanning around one night and caught it and started listening and decided I'd give it another try, and by doing that I got my ham license back, and boy, GMRS has expanded even in a year's time. It is just crazy how much it's expanded. Well, glad you guys all had a good time at the fest. I threw my back out, so I was here. I didn't make it. Have a great night, everybody. WRN Bravo 665.
Well, I hope your back's feeling better. Yeah, we would have had you. Nice to have had you out there. Things went well, but you got to take care of yourself. All right, let's go out to Bob, WRCM 701 out in Waddell.
Good evening, Mike. Good evening to the net. WRCM 701. Boy, where do I start? This just seems like was the next natural progression for me. I remember GMRS when it was almost like another business band, and so it's gone away from that, which I think is good. So reset. And so I just thought I'd get into it, found this great repeater, and here I am, WRCM 701.
Well, Bob, we're glad you found it, and appreciate so much your work this weekend. You made everything go a whole lot easier. Lou, are you out there tonight? WRKT 709.
Good evening, Mike and the net. This is Lou. Sounds like my story's a familiar one. Jeeping and off-roading, I used CB and FRS radio for quite a few years. And a little over a year ago, joined a different Jeep club that had a requirement that you run a GMRS radio, and it even be minimum 15 watts. So outfitted the Jeep with that, got my license course, and then found this club, and it's grown from there. The radio interest has grown now to where I am a technician ham license too, so we'll see where it leads now. Back to net control, WRKT 709.
Yeah, Lou, you are absolutely correct. This GMRS has just grown like crazy the last couple of years, and doesn't show any signs of slowing down, at least at this point. We are well over 310 in our membership now, well over that. So thank you very much, Lou. Appreciate your help this weekend. Randy, are you out there tonight? WRNS 717. All right, well, I'll have to make him buy breakfast in the morning since he didn't answer. James out in Levine, WRNW 736. All right, let's go Corey, WRKM 737. You out there? All right, that brings us to Rich out in Buckeye, WRKJ 772, Mr. Scanner Master.
Good evening, Mike and Annette. Sorry my voice is a little off-kilter today. I got a little touch of something going on, but I had a bunch of friends that all decided to get into GMRS at the same time, and A bunch of us got in and loved every minute of it. It's been almost 40 years. WRKJ 772.
Always good to hear you out there, and I hope the voice gets better. How are you recovering from the road rash? Is that doing well?
Yeah, it's not too bad. It's just about 4 or 5 little things left on my leg, and most of the stuff on my back and rump are pretty well taken care of by now.
All right, Rich. Thanks for all your help on Saturday. Really appreciate it. And be careful out there. Attila, are you out there tonight? WQWL 795. No, Attila, Mark, WRFP 808.
This is Mark, 808. Good evening, Mike. Good evening, everybody. And unlike a lot of the members, I'm a relative newcomer to GMRS. Break. When I started getting serious about off-roading 3 or 4 years ago, I started off with a couple of bubble pack FRS radios and quickly learned their limitations. Found out about GMRS and never looked back. I'm loving it. WRFP 808. Back to you, Mike.
Mark, always good to hear you out there. Glad things are working out for you, and if we can ever do anything for you, just let me know. Let's go to Bill out in Sun City, WQCA 890.
This is Bill, WQCA 890. Thanks, Mike. And hi, everybody at the net. Hey, great fest. We had a great time. Good food, good people. So thank you very much for putting that on and hosting it. It was a good turnout for sure. Didn't win any prizes, but that's okay. No problem. I've been with GMRS radio CBs way back in the 70s, but GMRS probably since 2000. Really happy with the club and how everything has progressed with GMRS. So back to you before I time out. WQCA 890.
Good job, Bill. You made it, and thanks for all your help this on Saturday. You made it. You're just one of those people that added to that success. Tim, you're next up. WQRV 903.
Hello, Michael, and the rest of the net. This is Tim, WQRV 903, and that was an excellent event on Saturday. Thanks for all the hard work you put into it and everybody else that volunteered. So I got my ham license in 1976 and have been interested in radio since I was a young child. My first radios were crystal diode radios, and I made some night kit one-channel CB walkie-talkies, reset. And then I built some amplifiers for my band when I was in a band in high school in the 70s. And in 76 I got my ham license and was moderately active over the years, off and on. And then finally, after Katrina hit, I wanted to go down there and help with the rebuilding project, so I bought a couple of those GMRS radios, and as long as there was a form in there, I filled it out and sent it in and got my first GMRS license. And didn't use it very much. And then when we moved out here to Arizona, I tried to renew my license, but it had already gone past the time of being able to renew. So I got a new GMRS license and started hanging out on the 550 repeater, and well, the rest is history.
Yeah, and that history has come a long ways in 6 years.
Yes, it has, thanks to the hard work of lots of dedicated people that saw the original vision and jumped on board. So kind of a group kudos to everybody that's been a part of this thing. WQRV 903, back to net control.
Tim, thank you so much, and thank you for jumping on to do secondary net control. Appreciate it. All right, Mr. London, Tim, are you out there tonight? WRMB 920.
Yeah, hey Mike, thanks for taking the net, and we enjoyed coming over on Saturday, even though it was brief. I made the mistake of bringing my wife with me. Let me take a break. And it wasn't that was a mistake, it's just that she was the one that got called out on a job and we had to leave very quickly because certainly it looked like an amazing thing and I wanted to stay. Anyway, with regards to radio, of course, I was that kid that fell asleep with a transistor radio underneath my pillow, and I'm probably not the only one, Roger. Well, the real deal is that then, of course, I got obsessed with broadcast radio, and I was lucky enough to spend most of my life behind the microphone in a big radio station. And just in the last few years, of course, I got interested in other things, two-way radio and stuff, and so GMRS is brilliant for me. I absolutely love it. Thanks for taking the net. Appreciate it, everybody. WRM Victor, 920.
Well, Tim, I'm glad that things turned out well. I mean, I saw you there, got to talk to you briefly, and then we turned our back, and everybody's going, where did he go? So good to hear the reason, and we'd love to have had you stay longer, but maybe next time. Chris, you're next up, WQWI 942. You out there tonight?
Yes, sir. Thank you for taking the net. Let's see. I got involved because I've been playing around with CBs and everything most of my life. Finally got my ham license and at the Thunderbird Club. Tried to make some friends there. Nobody seemed very welcoming. So once I heard Tim was working to form a club, I got involved with that and been addicted to GMRS ever since. WQWI 942, back to net.
So your wife was a huge, huge help this weekend. Has she recovered?
I don't think either of us have. We've both been just kind of trying to stay cool and being lazy as heck for the last few days, so I think I might go back to work tomorrow.
All right, well, appreciate both of you. You made things a lot easier.
I'm just trying to do my part. Thank you and everybody else as well. WQWI 942.
Thanks again, Chris, for joining us. Moving out to Santan Valley. Doug, you out there tonight? WRDN 953.
Well, good evening, Mike, and everybody on the net. I've been in GMRS for quite some time, and I use it as part of my preparedness plan in case of emergency. We, all the family members, we have communications and in case the systems go down. So it's kind of a fail-safe for us, and we can communicate without cell phones or anything like that.
Awesome. Yeah, I was one of those guys that experimented with CB, but I'm glad the CB is gone and GMRS is here because it's a whole better product.
Yeah, that's for sure. It sounds a lot better, and it works a lot better. So, WRDN 953, back to net.
Doug, thanks very much, and stay cool out there. Next up is Carlos out in Buckeye, WRKJ 480. All right, let's go over to Surprise. Dean, are you out there tonight? WRME 966. How about Doug over in Chandler, WROZ 993?
This is Doug in Chandler, 993. Hey, Mike, thanks for running net controls tonight. And I want to say I just got into GMRS this year. I'm in the process of building out a 4x4 that I'm going to be pounding around Arizona, New Mexico, and Utah very soon, and really wanted the radio for those communications reset. And as far as if expectations have been met, I would say I just got a new antenna in the mail so I can actually hear everybody tonight, so that's good. And then the only other thing is location, location, location. I'm down in southwest Chandler, and I just really don't get a lot of good reception, so I'm currently in the parking lot of Rustler's Roost is where I have to go kind of to get stuff. So if I had a little bit better signal than in Chandler, I think I'd have a little bit higher expectation. WROZ 993, back to net control.
Well, we'll just chalk it up to a work in progress. You just got to keep plugging at it and find the best thing that works best. Doug, thank you for driving all the way down there. Be safe in your travels back home. Let's see if Michelle's out here tonight. WRQI 411. Well, Michelle, I got you. There's some static in there, but are you on one of the handhelds or are you mobile?
The mobile isn't fully set up yet, so I'm on the handheld.
And are you at home?
No, I'm in North Scottsdale right now.
Okay. Well, you're making the trip into a 550. That's a good sign.
Okay, excellent. So I got into GMRS because I was looking for less expensive solutions for stats and in the event that cell coverage went down for a team of people that we, I guess, to support the charity. And so far, it's been a lot more complicated than I thought it would be, but I'm sure as I learn more, it'll be easier to use, and then I'll be able to share it with my folks. But I love the people that I've been introduced to through the GMRS radio. That's been wonderful. I'm very grateful to you and everyone else who introduced me to WRQI.
Well, Michelle, everybody starts someplace, and it was awfully good to see you at the Connection Fest. Good job. You got into the net tonight, so baby steps. We'll get you there. Just hang in there. Michelle, be careful out there and safe travels. Let's go to David over in Phoenix, WRND 788. All right, and Mike, WRPV 856 in Peoria. All right, that does bring me to the bottom of our list. Is there any late or missed check-ins? Go ahead and call in now.
Unit 2 also.
Okay, there are perfect doubles there. I believe it was WRME 96.
WRJS 273, Dave in Phoenix.
Gil, I got you down. Stand by. Anybody else? Okay, my bad. I heard you just about the time I keyed up that unit. Try it one more time. Okay, WRME 966, Unit 2. How'd you get started in radio?
I think Derek is taking the night off. But I got started in it originally going for a ham, but got sidetracked when I figured out GMRS was much better.
Yeah, much easier to use and no test. Just fork out $70 or $35 and you're good to go with the whole family.
Roger that. Worked out great. Coming on me, 966. We'll go back to net.
Dean, appreciate it. Thanks for joining us. Gil, WRAP 438. Sorry I missed you earlier.
WRAP 438. No, I actually wasn't here. I came in the middle of the net, kind of figured out what the question was with the context. I got into radio about 2004, 11 meter, merged over to GMRS, used commercial radio my entire career, kind of piqued my interest in repeaters and whatnot, and got back into it when I retired and moved out to Arizona. Sorry I missed the fest there, and I'm gonna miss Saturday too. I gotta come out and meet you guys sometime. Hopefully it happens. It's been a busy life. But yeah, thanks for taking the net. WRAP 438.
Yeah, that's what I say. Life getting in the way of playing with radios? Come on. Gil, appreciate you joining us. I believe there was a Zello user that I might have covered up. Are you still out there?
WRJS 273, Dave in Phoenix.
Hi, Dave. How's it going tonight? And did you hear the topic? I know we called you earlier and missed you.
Yeah, this is WRJS 273. Yeah, I started in ham radio in 1966, and I've been involved with GMRS for about a year now. WRJS 273.
All right, Dave, thank you very much for that. I'm glad we got you in there. One more time out there. Any late or missed check-ins? Want to call in now.
760, recheck.
Go right ahead, Bubba.
You hooked me up at the fest there with, I believe it was Mike at 431 from Chandler. And I just wanted to give you kudos for that guy. He's a very smart guy, and he helped me out very well. And I thank you for that. WRPY 760, Bubba, back to net control.
Awesome. That's what it's all about. I saw a lot of that going on. That's really nice to see that happen. Anybody else before we conclude?
993 comment.
Go right ahead.
I would feel horrible if I did not say thank you to Paul, who helped me test my radio and let me know that my antenna was less than adequate. And now have this new antenna and heard everybody crystal clear tonight. So thanks for setting up the connection fest. It was great. And a big shout out to Paul for bringing all that equipment down. WROZ 993.
And you know what? As soon as I get off, I'm going to send him an email and let him know that. It's always great to have him participate. Thank you very much for those comments. One more time, any other comments before we conclude?
337, Bill.
337, go ahead.
Yeah, hello there, Michael. It's my first time checking in. I actually did send in a pre-registration, or not it's pre-something. I don't remember exactly what you called it. I started out with actually with a CB license in 1965, and progressed on to amateur radio for 1983. And a couple months ago, I decided to just try something different here, and with all the commercial gear that I've got sitting in front of me here and in my car and everything, I guess it was it was an easy deal. So with that, I'll turn it back over to you. Back over to Net Control at WRQL 337.
Well, thank you very much for those comments. I'm glad we were able to get you in there tonight. One last time, any other late or missed check-ins and or any comments before we conclude?
WQW 299.
Go ahead, Brent.
Hey, Mike, did you guys get a stop put to that individual that was trying to sell the T-shirts?
Yeah, we're taking care of that.
Copy, yeah, because I saw little inquiries on the Facebook, so I just wanted to make sure nobody's gotten fooled with it.
Nah, it won't be there much longer.
Copy that. WCWC299.
Thank you, Brent. All right, I think that's going to wrap it up for tonight. Before I forget it, I was just advised by 645 that the ESG will not be going on tonight. Apparently, he's got a power outage over there, so we might have to talk about the ESG commander and how come he can't do a net when it goes up without power.
Ooh, that's cold. WR.
Oh, no way. Sammy, how come you didn't speak up?
I was afraid my little handheld wouldn't make it. Come on, come on.
It's good to hear you in there. Yeah, but we're just joking. Just joking, Gary. I know you're out there listening. All right, everybody. Really, really good night tonight. Over 36. That's always a good night. Want to thank everybody who did check in, participated. We'll be back here again next week, same time, same day. Special thanks going out to WPRR 517 for hosting this 550 repeater, as well as our Scottsdale 700. This is WQYP 827, Net Control, GMRS 1900 Net, returning the repeater to its normal operation. Everybody have a great night and what's left of the week.